And the reason I got a hold of you is because my channel's been around a lot longer, but you have more subs already than me. So what you're doing well is promoting and getting it out there in front of people's eyes. How do you get out there and have people know you're there so they bother to sub up and kind of see what you're all about?
Sure.
That's the main thing that I want to try to learn from you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we have the great Chris Richardson. We're going to be doing a quick little discussion and talk about different ways that we can grow our YouTube channel, Onewheel related content. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are looking to improve their YouTube channel, to share their content. There's a lot of great writers out there. And so we're going to talk about different ways we can grow our channels, bounce some ideas off of each other. And I'm going to go over Chris's channel and talk about some things that he can do to help make his channel even better. Chris, I just want to say first off, I'm a big fan of your videos, a big fan of your channel. When even before I started one wheeling, before I got my first one wheel, I was watching your stuff and
Awesome.
watching your videos on how to ride, how to dismount your original 101 series. I think I watched those over and over again, making sure that I knew what I was getting myself into. And so
Oh, that's great.
yeah, thank you for that. So let's
Oh,
let's
no problem.
let's start off really quick about you. Tell me a little bit more about you and your one wheel. How did you get into this whole thing?
I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed and there's this one wheel thing come up. The Plus, this new one wheel Plus was just being announced. I'm like, what is this? What is this crazy thing? So I see this ad for a one wheel. I'm like, do I click? Do I click? So I did. I clicked through and I'm like, nothing could be as fun as this looks. Nothing could be this, like, it's like a skateboard. Like, I've been a skateboarder for 30 years, ever since I was a kid. And I grow up, you're in the skateboard and you're riding in a car and you're looking at the side of the road and you're like, man, I would that side of the hill there, if only my skateboard could ride that, I wish I could ride it, whatever. And I'm thinking, could this really do that? And so I look at some YouTube videos and stuff and I see people riding and actually doing tricks on this thing. I'm like, this looks too crazy. And at this time I'm a little overweight, I'm kind of out of shape and had back problems for like 10 years. And so I'm like, I order this thing, like $1,500 for a toy, and I'm thinking that was stupid. I'm going to cancel my order. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a little more research. I look around on Facebook. I find the Facebook groups and all, and people are just dying to buy a one wheel. Like, you can't find them, and if you've got one, they're selling for like $300 plus over retail, $500 over retail if you got one. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't lose. I can't lose money. So I left my order in. So it took me, I think, like 9 weeks to get it. They were back ordered. I finally got it and I ordered another one the next day. I'm like, I gotta have two. I gotta have my friends. I try to get my girlfriend to ride. Like, it's just too much fun. So I'm out there just riding these paths and trails and stuff. It is too much fun. Too much fun. I mean, yeah. So that's how I got into it, and never look back. I think I've lost count of how many boards I've owned now. I think like 7 or 8 boards now, just between the pluses and the XRs, and
I love it.
just
I
ride
love
one
that. I love that story. It's very similar to me. And the first time I even heard of the concept, someone was telling me about the one wheel and explaining it to me, and I from just his explanation and his excitement, I fell in love. I went home, I Googled it, and your videos were one of the first ones that popped up, and that was
awesome.
my introduction to the one wheel. And similar to you, you said you lost weight. How much weight do you think you've lost?
I lost about 30 pounds. I put
Thir-
a little bit back on, but I've actually started working out a little bit. So it's quality weight. But yeah, I
yeah.
got down to, I think I was like 170 something, and I got down to 142, and now I'm up to 155.
Okay.
But lean. Yeah, lost weight, dropped my blood pressure. I was taking pain pills for my back, and I've just about cut those out now. It got me back into fitness. It got me off the couch. I mean, my back problem. I've had 6 procedures on my back and neck, and now I pretty much I'm almost pain free, and
Man.
it's just from getting into it and writing. And I do physical therapy twice a week with John Stock.
Okay.
If you know,
Great.
I know you're
Yeah, I know
local to
John. I
John
ride with
Stock.
John. Good guy.
I do it by Skype like this. This is how I know how to use Skype. Is
Okay. That's awesome.
twice a week. He actually basically trains me. It's not even physical therapy. He pretty much trains me for one wheel riding twice a week, and helps me keep my hips and back and shoulders and everything in shape. And
Awesome. Yeah, the one wheel
yeah.
trainer. I like that. John Stock. Shout out to John. Tell me, getting into YouTube, what got you started with that, and what is your goal with YouTube?
Some of you may not even know this, but in the app, it used to have a leaderboard for top speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can see where this is going. So, yeah, maybe day 3, I'm like, yeah, I bet I could hit top speed. You know, I want to go see what the top speed is. So I'm just blasting. I get to 23 miles an hour, and it dumps me.
Ooh.
And I do a good skaterish, you know, I get a couple feet down at 23 miles an hour, and I slide on my hip. But apparently, I hit the ground so hard with my foot, trying to run it out, that it smashed my toe into my shoe. And my toe swelled up all purple, and even to this day, 2 years later, it's maybe not 100%. So I'm like, why? You know, and then I get into figuring out what's up with the nosedive and pushback and all that, and I started to realize there just really was no resource on how to safely ride the one wheel. I mean, basically, you've got like a street bike, and nobody's taught you road safety or like tire physics or anything. I mean, you gotta, people are all just out there just hammering away and figuring it out for themselves. And I put it all together in a way that I'm like, I should just make a YouTube channel, because I hate seeing people keep posting their pics of broken bones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people were tearing themselves up on these things, and I was one of them. And so I'm like, I think if I put up a video and explain things to people, that it'll help them learn to be safe and learn to do things that they want to do on a one wheel, and maybe do some things that until now I've only been able to be done on a skateboard.
Sure.
And doing on these crazy electronic things. And that it seems to have taken off, and people really enjoy that and have gotten a lot out of it. I get comments all the time about how it's helped people decide to buy a one wheel and be safe. And people didn't know what pushback is. Safety. You know, I bought a couple of my boards. I call it 9 miles in a bloodstain. You find boards for sale that somebody buys, and they get on it and they just take off, and it's nice and fast and quiet and stable until it isn't. Mm-hmm. And it dumps you, and you got a broken collarbone, you know, broken whatever, and they sell the board. And that's sad. That's a shame.
It is sad.
Somebody that missed out on all of this.
It is sad, and it's an all too common occurrence. You see it pop up all the time on Facebook threads, on Reddit threads, even on YouTube. My first week riding, I fell, and I thought, wow, this thing is dangerous. Did some research, and you know, I was surprised at how little information there was out there. This is such new technology. People don't know how to treat it. And so my first video was, I contacted Jeff McCosker, asked him if I could use his 5 rules for preventing a nosedive or on how to ride. And I just made a nosedive compilation video, and that's using his tips. And so I thought that was very helpful. YouTube is a great way to be able to share information. The rest of this discussion, I want to talk about different ways we can grow our YouTube audience so that our content can be shared with others, because the hope is that as people watch our videos, they'll understand the machine better, they'll understand how to ride and respect the board, and hopefully that will keep people riding longer, riding happier, and riding healthier.
YouTube, just YouTube, is the greatest information resource that we have as of today.
You know, I'm not the expert. This is all self-taught. I started my YouTube channel last summer, and it's just from looking at different content creators, looking at different channels that I liked, and kind of drawing from them. But I want to go over just 5 tips right now on what we can do with YouTube. Number 1 is making sure you understand your goal. So like you said, you want to educate. And I call this the 3 E's. This is actually something that I came up myself. Maybe someone else has said it, but the 3 E's, if you were to draw a Venn diagram, you'd have, in one Venn diagram, you'd have entertain. In another circle, you'd have educate. And then in another circle, you'd have encourage. And I think those are the 3 main spheres that draw people to YouTube when they're searching for content. They want something either to educate them, how to do a 180, how to install float plates. So that's to educate. And then there's the other sphere, to entertain. And that's where Sly Dog does a great job. Andrew does a great job with his channel entertaining people, because it's just mesmerizing watching him ride and how he syncs it to his music. And so he's got that entertaining sphere down. And then the other sphere is to encourage. And so people need encouragement. I think it's, even today, I just got an email saying, "Hey, love your channel. I went on my first group ride, but I was a novice and I couldn't keep up with everyone." And and so it's folks like those that then it starts me thinking, man, how can I make a video to help educate them and help encourage them? So if you have those three different spheres. If you can find a way to educate, entertain, and encourage all in one video, that would be a gold mine right there. If not, that's fine. If you can dominate a sphere like Sly Dog has, with just entertaining, or with just educating, or with just encouraging, then then that could be your thing too. But number one, I think you need to know your goal, and I think you know your goal, and your goal is to educate. But then if you can incorporate those other elements to entertain and to encourage, I think that will really appeal to audiences. So the next tip number 2, the next thing is what is going to set you apart and your channel apart from the other Onewheel channels out there? And what do you think it is? What sets you apart from the other guys out there?
For me, probably the teaching style. If I had to pick one thing, it'd probably be that I can teach anything. Even if it's a really complex, difficult task, I can, because that's what it takes for me to learn it. I may be a slow learner. To learn something that's difficult to do, whether it's physical, mental, or combination of both, which one-wheeling is, combination of both. And I can break something down into actionable steps, little tiny things that you can do until you can complete the entire process. And so if I had to pick one thing, it'd probably be that. And I think people find it kind of entertaining watching an old man bounce off the ground a lot too. I think my slam videos seem to be pretty popular. People seem to like to watch me fail.
So you have the components of education, of entertainment, and we'll talk about that later. You said that you've even recognized what people like to watch, and we'll talk about that later. Building on what you know people like to watch, and then trying to learn from what the videos that people just didn't like for whatever reason. And we've all had our fair share of videos that just we thought were going to be great, and people just didn't watch them. So so I think understanding what sets us apart from the pack, what makes us different from Sly Dog Stroh's channel, what makes us different from the Float Life's channel, what makes us different from my channel, from your channel, what sets us apart. And that's the beauty of it. I don't have the mindset thinking I can't help Chris, because if I help Chris grow his channel, then that's going to take away from my channel. But that's not the mentality.
That's not the way it works. That's not the way it works.
No, it's not.
It's even if you go into town and you want to go get some fast food, McDonald's is right next to Wendy's, is right next to Arby's and all that, because there's plenty for everybody. And that's not even the best example. The best example might be music. Just because your album's doing really well doesn't mean somebody's not going to buy my album. People are going to consume it, and if there's tons of good material, they're going to watch it. And I think it helps everybody to collaborate, cooperate, and share and promote each other. I never, so far, I have never said on my channel, please sub, please whatever. I don't beg for subs or whatever. I figure if somebody likes it, they like it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should. I don't know.
But and we'll talk about that.
Getting it out there.
Sometimes people just need a little reminding. It does feel like pandering or begging, but if you can get yourself to get over that hurdle, don't feel bad when you ask or just remind people to like and subscribe. I know it sounds old, it sounds cliche, but I find just looking at my statistics, the videos where I do ask get more likes and more subs than the videos where I don't ask. So anyway, but so you touched on a couple points. One of my commenters once said that a rising tide lifts all boats. And so as we improve the Onewheel Stoke, as we get everyone excited, it's not like as the tide rises, not just Chris Richardson's or not just Jimmy Chang's or not just so-and-so's YouTube channel will take off. All of our channels will improve and get better. And hopefully by making this video, we'll have some helpful tips to help other budding Onewheel YouTubers improve their channel and help.
Just like with the Onewheel, the more people that know what a Onewheel is, if the whole world knew what a Onewheel was, they'd sell a lot more one reels.
Sure.
And I think if there was a lot of good content, I think I see what you're saying, the rise of all boats things. If you have a lot of, if there is an industry, basically a community of YouTube people producing good content, then more people will watch more because there's just good stuff. If there's only a couple good videos come out a year, then it's not really a common thing. It's not like where you'd go watch your favorite TV show that comes on once a week. People go to YouTube more frequently because they know there'll be something fresh to watch.
Yeah. So, and you basically just went over my third point, and my third point is making consistent quality content. Number one, consistency. Being able to post videos consistently gets your viewers expecting, it's like that TV show.
Like frequency.
Yeah, frequency. I try to post at least once a week. Sometimes I'll post twice a week if I can, but I usually always post once a week. If your schedule doesn't allow you to do that, if you just post every other week, that's fine. But some sort of consistency. The other thing is to I'm just going to go really quickly, make it interesting, which you do on your channel. You make your videos interesting. The one thing I do note that you could probably improve on your channel is your intro. I feel your intro is a little long. So if you have a fan base that's accustomed to your intro, that's fine, and they'll watch it. But if you have someone that's just randomly searching and clicking through and they click on your channel, they say that you have about 5 seconds to win their attention, to make them watch that video. In the first 5 seconds, in their mind, they're going to decide, I'm going to watch this video, or I'm going to back out and I'm going to find something else. And so if you have this long extended intro with music and animations, I think that could turn some people off, and they'll be like, I'm just going to go find something else. So shorten it down. Yeah. I try to keep mine 2 to 3 seconds, really brief.
2 to 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, seconds. Mine I think is 12 seconds. So
yeah. Yeah, it's a little on the long side. And what you can do is, instead of just starting with that, you can actually, hey, close the door, guys. Sorry. So instead of starting with an intro, you can start with a little hook. And so let's say, for example, you're going to be doing a video on a 360 kick spin to jump or something like that. So at the beginning, so people, either they've searched it or it's been a recommendation from YouTube for you to watch it. So they've clicked on that video, they've gone to it. I think the first few seconds should be you showing them a successful kick spin 360 flip or whatever. That way they're like, there it is. And then you go into your intro, your shortened intro, and then you go through the whole thing. So viewers know what to expect. They see it, they're like,
show them what's coming, and then the intro, short intro.
Exactly.
And, I like that. I like that. I think that's a nice flow to it.
Yeah. And the other tip we've already talked about, at the end, don't feel like you're begging for likes and subscribes. I mean, in a way you are, but I like to think of it as a reminder, reminding people, because people, they're watching your content, and I think they do like your stuff. And if they're new viewers, if you remind them to like and subscribe and just tell them, it would help out the channel. I mean, you could word it. There's a number of ways you can word it. Some people like to go crazy saying, smash the subscribe button, smash that like button, or you can just come in from a different angle and say, hey, if you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. It really helps me out. And because it does, it'll help you out. It may take viewers a number of videos. They'll watch a number of your videos, but if at the end you're reminding them, please like and subscribe, eventually they're going to act on it. They're going to say, hey, I've watched 10 of Chris's videos. Maybe I should subscribe. And then bam.
And if you and when you get more likes and subs, obviously it kind of snowballs, right? I mean, according to their algorithms, I would think that the more likes and subs and comments too, I'm sure that that will move you up the algorithm. So what do you think when you were saying that? I'm taking notes here too, because
sure.
This is all good stuff. On the outro, I was thinking maybe a quick either text or voiceover, maybe in a shortened outro. Something to the effect of like, if you like and sub, it'll help others find this content. Yeah. That way I'm not begging in. It's not for me. It's more like, hey, it's going to help others. If you find this useful, others will too. If you like and sub, it's going to help other people find the content.
For sure. Yeah, and it does. YouTube favors big channels The smaller channels kind of get ignored by the YouTube algorithm until you've grown to a certain size. For me, it took me about 6 months to get my first 1,000 subs, and then I got my next 1,000 subs in 2 months. YouTube favors the channels that post consistently and that have grown to a certain size. Then what they do is they'll take your video, and those suggested videos that you see on the side, they'll serve your video to a community, okay? And depending on if people click it or not, that'll tell the algorithm whether or not to serve it to more people. If people don't click on it, then they won't serve it to any more people. If everyone's clicking on it, then they serve it to more people. And if more people click on it, they'll expand and keep serving that. But and so that brings me to the next point, which is to how to get found. YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world, and they just happen to be owned by the biggest search engine in the world. But people don't realize that. And so to get found, you need to, the number one, the most important thing you need to do to get found is to have a good title for your videos. So if you think about anything that you've searched on Google or YouTube, if you think other people are searching that too, then there are keywords in that search term that you should be putting in your title. And so I know sometimes we like to get fancy and make funny or fun titles for our videos, but a lot of times that just doesn't work with the search feature. So you want to make sure it's something that people are searching, because then that's another way you get found is people searching. So being able to throw in those terms into the title, make sure the title's still descriptive, but make sure it's something that people, it's a searchable term, I guess is my point for that one.
Yeah, I always try to put the word Onewheel in there. I'm sure that's always got to be one of the biggest ones. Put Onewheel in there, and then if it's tricks or education or tips, I try to work that into the title. I figure that's got to help.
Yep, no, for sure. And so that's the number one. Number two is your thumbnail. So your thumbnail is huge. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but if
everybody judges a book by its cover, covers sell books.
That's right. If you don't have a good cover, no one's going to take that book off the shelf, and they'll never know about your book. They'll never be able to judge your book. And so they talk about clickbait, and this was an experiment I did before. I actually have a thumbnail that says click me, and then my title says clickbait. It's one of my most popular videos. It's and so if you can make your video, your thumbnail engaging, that will help people click on it. The thing is, you just need to be able to back up that thumbnail, right? If you have this amazing thumbnail and it's a crappy video, they're going to click right out of your video, and that's going to hurt your channel and your video more than anything else. But if they click into it, if your thumbnail is enticing enough that it causes people to click into it, and then your content is great, like we talked about, and they watch the entire video, then that's huge. That tells YouTube, let's serve this to more people. I'm in the middle of something. Can you give me a second? I'm doing an interview.
Who's that?
That's Chris. Say hi to Chris.
Hi.
Hey there. Hey, how's it going?
He said, how's it going?
I got a new calculator.
All right. It seems like
I guess you probably can't hear me. Yeah.
Seems like all the kids are coming in my office.
Oh, hey.
How do you turn it on?
Hey guys. All right, we got a bunch of goofballs in the house.
I like that. That's great. Yeah.